Hey, how are y'all doing? I'm Hunter.
And I'm Sarah, and this is Unapologetically Ourselves.
Thanks to any of you guys who are tuning in for our second episode and any new listeners today.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for your support. Give us a follow or leave a comment below or any questions you guys have. We'd love to hear from you. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about our engagement, our wedding, and what it was like to live with my mom together for 6 months, I believe. Yeah, 6 months.
Yeah, so I'll start with basically how the engagement came along and everything that was happening through that process. So basically, when we had gotten together, it was I think I proposed about 4 months down the line, and one of the things I know it seems like a little soon, a little early, but I mean, I was definitely thinking, like I might be judged for it, from like family or something. They might have thought that, look at him, he hadn't been in a serious relationship at all,
Yeah.
and now all of a sudden he just wants to marry the first girl that he, actually has a serious relationship with. But I mean, to be honest, I felt like I was in love with you from, I mean, just a month when we were living together, but I had to give it a little more time than that. I knew, I was wise enough to not be that kind of stupid person and just be that
Just
kind of one.
not,
I love like but I love this person. No, I mean
yeah, just
I
not to make the decision too quickly. Yes, it was like
yeah
really early. 4 months is pretty soon in a relationship, but I know people who have gotten married after meeting one time in person together and like only talked online, or they were only together like a month and then they got married. And
yeah
a lot of those people didn't go into as much research as we did on communication and on who we are and see if we were compatible. Like a lot of people don't do that. They just, are head over heels in love with this person for the moment, and
yeah
that's what happens.
yeah
But it
exactly.
was different. I was so in love with you too, and I still am to this day. So
Of
in love with
course.
you,
Yeah, definitely.
and we still don't. I don't regret any of our decisions or how early we did it.
No, I don't because like I said, this 2 years now,
Mm-hmm.
we haven't had so much as any real fights. Not ones that have actually caused any of us to ever second guess a relationship. We
No.
always built back strong, and
Yeah,
you
and we
know
work through it is the
yeah
thing. That's why they're not huge fights. It's not like we don't fight. It's
yeah
just the way we fight is by talking it out and like, taking
yeah
some time to ourselves to feel our emotions and then come back together to, work as a team.
yeah, and based on the relationships that I've seen that were long term, like they did it the right way. They
Mhm.
did the wait to move in, with them, and
Yeah.
don't get married right away. Wait until you're like a year or two down the line in your relationship. And I mean, those
Or even
relationships had a
waiting.
lot of fighting and had a lot of problems. I mean, a lot more than what I've seen in our relationship. And like I said, you can call someone crazy for that, but when you know what you want,
Then
you
it
know
gets
what you
progressive.
want. So that's yeah. But anyways, kind of down the line of that. Um, yes, on the decision to propose. So it was so about a month before I actually proposed. I had talked to my mom. Quite a bit, just like asking her, like what's going on and stuff, like every day, and we had gotten into the discussion about how my relationship with you had been going. Are
Yeah.
you happy? Have you guys been fighting or anything like that? And she was just telling me, like if you are fighting, even if like you're not gonna tell me that, like which I
Mhm.
didn't.
She
So
wasn't
that's why she's
prying.
like, yeah,
Yeah, she
but
was like, if you want to talk about it, we can. She's being
yeah,
open. It's
yeah,
good.
basically, just telling her, just telling me that, and she just wanted to let me know that it was okay, if things are going on, relationships aren't perfect, and you just got to work through it, and I was like, no, honestly, everything is fine, everything's good, I would not be lying about it. I might not be completely open to her about it, but that doesn't mean
Just
I'm
because
not
it's
gonna tell her.
private,
Yeah. um
you don't want her to think poorly of me because I am your wife. Well, I was a girlfriend at the
yeah,
time, but
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. yeah, and she was asking me then after that, she was like, so, are you thinking about proposing to her maybe? And I was like, Mom, like, we've only been together for like, 3 months. And she was like, so what? And I was like, I don't know. I thought you would have been one of the first people to judge me, about it.
Yeah, to say like you shouldn't do it that soon
Yeah,
or something, because you're her baby. You're the
yeah,
youngest of her kids, so
exactly.
she might feel a little different about that.
Yeah, definitely. And she was like, if you know that she's the one for you, and you're happy with her, and you know for a fact that she would be your wife, that's the one that you would pick, not just like,
Not
I
just because
think
you
I
don't have
like
somebody
her,
else.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or I like her, like stuff like that. She was like, just make sure, but there's no reason to wait if you know for a fact. And
Yeah, so she kind of like
yeah,
sealed the deal for,
yeah,
you to propose in a way.
yeah,
Like it gave you like that peace of mind, like, yeah, I know, and I'm ready to do that.
yeah.
And it
I
was so
make my
sweet.
yeah. I mean, I'll make my own decisions on everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not influenced by my mom.
No, but it's,
That's not something that, she always tried to be like, overly motherly in my life, but I kind of pushed her away from it anyways because, you eventually want to grow up and be your own person. But so that was the day that I decided, and it was definitely a very good decision.
yeah.
I'm very happy about that. But I decided to go ring shopping then after that, and the first thing I looked online because online you can see everything and kind of get a glimpse of like what all they have and make sure that you're gonna have the right one. And I think I had talked to you a little bit about it before, so not to like any not to like do like to give everything away.
No, but we had
But
talked about it before, you haven't had made that decision
yeah,
because I had talked to you about like how far into the relationship you would want to get married and stuff and like what kind of, because I kind of need a timeline to, be able to run properly myself.
yeah,
And I'm a planner, so that's a big deal to me to kind of know like a general idea of when to expect something like that, whether it's a year, past a year, or 2 years, or 6 months, whatever it may be. So we did talk about, in the beginning of our relationship, like what kind of rings I like, because I had already had a preference on types of jewelry, and I like, princess cut engagement rings because they're
yeah,
just, they fit my personality really well. Not
yeah,
that I'm, princessy or anything, but, I'm a passenger princess type of girl, so.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, so I had seen that exact kind of princess cut, and it was on. I think I might have went to Zales first. I know I looked at Jared, and I remember they actually had like a pretty good deal going on at that time because I just so happened to be doing this around Christmas, and I actually did it on Christmas. The proposal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
so
proposed on Christmas. Yeah, you were
the
shopping for the ring, what, around
yeah,
like
which
Thanksgiving,
yeah,
like
which
sometime in November or something like that.
yeah, which was like Black Friday time. So
Yeah.
regardless of if you were trying to get it on a deal or not, you were gonna get it for a deal, which was
Mm-hmm.
awesome because I was able to save us money for our future
Yeah,
and
no.
still be able to get you a beautiful ring
I'm
that
always for
actually
it.
costed way more than what I got it for you for. So
Yeah.
it was awesome.
I love that.
And but there was a lot of complications with that. And to start off, I there was ones in Jared that didn't exactly match the profile, but when I saw it, it was like a way better deal than the one I saw from Zales. At the same time, they were both like princess cut, but
Mm-hmm.
I think one of them had square shaped diamonds and one was circular.
Oh.
So Zales had the circular, which is what you wanted. And and the square one didn't look exactly the nicest on the band either part
Yeah.
of
This one, sorry, I'm looking at my ring, guys. This one just looks, a little more perfect.
it. Yeah, and it definitely was because even I didn't really like the style of the one from Jared's, but either way, when I went to go order it, everything seemed fine, and then I got an email a couple of days down the road, and it had told me that it bounced because of like a billing zip code error.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like not the right one for the card, but
Yeah.
then
Yeah, which is weird because usually your billing zip code doesn't have to be like accurate, and you can always order stuff.
Had
It's
any
never,
issues.
yeah, it's never been like very dead set on like getting your billing like exactly correct. That you could literally put whatever billing you wanted when you order something, and it didn't matter because that's like a billing is an older thing. Billing
Mm-hmm.
zip codes, like nowadays they just send you emails.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
But then they canceled the order, right? I remember
yeah,
you were like
yeah.
kind of stressing. You told me like one of my
About your
Christmas
gift.
gifts. Yeah,
Yeah.
one of my Christmas
Hmm.
gifts might not be there in time, and you were like stressing about it because you were telling me that they had canceled the order like days after you had ordered it, and then you had done it again, and they had canceled it again.
Yeah,
And so that's when you started to show your frustration, and I could see that it was bothering you. And I was telling you, I was like, it's fine, you don't have to get me that gift. I didn't realize though it was the engagement ring.
yeah,
So it's kind of
yeah. It made it a very big deal. I
yeah,
wasn't I wasn't about to let them take that away from me either though.
yeah,
So
and ruin our engagement.
yeah, I tried everything I could to make sure that I emailed them about it and I asked them like what's like going on with this and I went into my my card and made sure to look at different the billings to make sure that like things were accurate.
Yeah.
And
And
it
what was it
was,
like the third time it actually finally worked?
yeah, I think, yeah, maybe even more than that. It was pretty ridiculous. At a point, I didn't know what I was gonna do, and
Yeah, if
it
it was gonna
was,
be there in time, because
yeah,
Christmas is kind of a set date and doesn't change.
yeah, exactly,
So,
yeah,
if it wasn't there in time, you wouldn't have been able to do that. But there's
yeah,
always other holidays. My birthday's in January,
yeah,
so
yeah. And I could have done it at that time. I just thought it would have been a special time to do it.
and it was absolutely
Mhm.
perfect, and I was like, it was so sweet.
Yeah, and there's no time I could be secretive around you and like not get like talked about, like not get talked to about it.
Yeah, like me questioning like why you were being secretive. I
Yeah,
mean, and you were pretty
exactly.
good at it. Like I didn't think you were doing like anything like shady by any means, because you
Yeah,
were you were still like fully attentive and being such a sweetheart to
yeah,
me and doing all the same stuff. You just were a little bit more sneaky with your phone, likewise. But we also discussed that we are allowed to be sneaky during holiday times when people are gift shopping, because we don't want the other person like seeing a notification for the email for an order coming up and ruining their Christmas present, birthday present,
exactly.
or whatever. So we are allowed to be shady with our phone during those times before holidays, but other times than that, we aren't. We're pretty open about it.
Yeah,
Like I can just go on his phone if I need to look something up and I don't want to go get my phone, or for whatever reason.
yeah,
Sometimes I leave my phone on accident and I need to use yours, but
yeah,
and vice versa. It's like not a big deal because we're not hiding stuff unless it's for the other one as a present. So
yeah, and I was always pretty dead set on that too. Like even though it wasn't about the proposal exactly, it was just about in general. Like I never liked when people knew what they were getting. I always
mm-hmm.
liked it to
It
be a
ruins the
surprise.
surprise.
Yeah, and of course, a proposal should always be a secret.
Yeah,
Like
and you
engagement
did
should
pretty
always be a
well.
secret. Yeah,
I was a little suspicious, but
yeah,
I couldn't actually believe that you were going to propose, because when we had talked about it, you said like maybe around a year or so to
yeah,
give me some idea, and then you surprised me by doing it at like 4 months. So
yeah,
on Christmas morning, and it was so sweet. He waited for me to do my hair for the day so we could go see family and get dressed all cute, and then he decided to record on his phone, for gift wrapping of our first Christmas together, So it was sweet to have that memory for, just for us to look back on and for our kids. And he ended up proposing in that video, and it was just the sweetest, like, speech. And you were so cute.
yeah. And you were very beautiful.
Thank you,
And
baby.
of course, yeah. Yeah, so on Christmas morning, I had an idea kind of how I was gonna do this because there was a lot of ideas being thrown around for Christmas proposals, like get an ornament,
A
ring
ring.
box, yeah, and then put the ring inside of there, and then just hang it on there, and then just have them somehow, some way, have them grab that ornament, and then realize that it's not an
That it's a
ornament.
ring
Yeah.
box and open it.
But my sister had made a point that was like, she's not proposing to herself, though.
Yeah, and also I probably would have noticed it before because I'm a very detailed person.
Just
So
depends.
I could, if you didn't put it on like while I was getting ready, I would have
Yeah.
saw it before, and then it could have ruined like the surprise as well.
And see, that was another thing, like not getting caught like in the middle of doing it. I didn't want to
Yeah.
ruin anything like just like right before, because there was other ways of doing it where I didn't have to like worry about that at all. So the way I did it was I decided to just keep it in my pocket.
Yeah.
And I was originally going to put it in your stocking too. That was another idea.
Yeah.
And I had already put like a little note in a blank box. It didn't have anything in it.
Yeah,
I said
just
that it
under
was
the
your
tree.
gift. Yeah. And it literally just had like a little piece of paper in there that said that your gift was in the stocking. And
Yeah, and I love you.
yeah,
And
basically.
I still have that
Yeah.
piece of wrapping paper that you wrote that on in the
Oh yeah,
box.
I thought it got like washed up too.
No, our dog actually, she got a hold of it when it fell out of that jacket pocket that I would keep it in. Like I kept it in this jacket pocket that I rarely wore to keep it safe, and always have with me. And it ended up falling out somehow, and she was actually chewing on it. So it got covered in dog slobber, of course. But I dried it out, and I ended up folding it back up and keeping it because it was still readable. I was like, I have to keep it.
Sweet.
It was so sweet. I loved it. I loved how you proposed. I thought it was wonderful. And I totally tried shaking that box, and I couldn't tell what it was because there was no noise because it was paper. So good job. That was a very sneaky way to do it because you definitely tricked me. I'm that woman. I'm the kid who, shook the boxes before and when they were in your parents' closet,
It's okay. Everybody has. I've actually broken into the room they kept all the gifts in before I picked the lock.
Just to
go in there.
see.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want to ruin
Yeah.
the surprise,
Yeah,
but
I
it's
didn't
always
care. I was
better
very
if you
happy.
wait.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
very happy to see what they got me anyway, so it was alright. But back on topic for that.
Yeah.
So the way that it had gone, basically the proposal from the beginning, we had gotten basically all of our other gifts already unwrapped. Everything was already unwrapped. Even the stockings, we already did that. I think we actually did that first. Maybe.
Yeah, we did stockings first, and then we did our any presents under the tree
Okay,
after. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I wanted it to flow that way, so it was more natural. Like not stop and then go stockings and then do yours as the last one.
present.
You might think
Yeah.
it's a little.
It would be
more
sus.
than that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would
so-
definitely be like, why can't I open it with all the rest of my
Yeah,
gifts? I would
exactly,
definitely
unless
question it.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
just wanted, I said last because I made a big deal out of your present in the way that it was like just
Super
something
special.
really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not exactly like I was proposing, which is what I was
No.
trying to keep it.
Just something that
Yeah.
I really wanted, or something,
Yes,
like you're like,
something.
you're gonna love it so much, you're gonna be so excited,
Yeah.
and you didn't give me like a single hint on my gifts.
Yeah, I didn't want to. And
Yeah.
it was already hard when it had came in. I didn't even want you to like sign for it like when it had came in the mail. Remember?
Yeah, and I had
was so happy.
I was actually home when it came, and you told me that it was gonna get delivered, and you were like, "Don't look at the box, don't look at the label or anything." So I literally like opened the door, did not look down, like I knew it was there, and I just knew it was a box. So I like bent down and didn't look at it and picked it up and put it in our guest bedroom. We had a 2-bedroom. We were renting a 3-bedroom. It was like a 2 with an office.
Small place,
Yeah.
really small rooms. Yeah.
Very small rooms, but I just put it in one of those rooms until you got home, and it was so hard, guys. It was incredibly hard not to look at the label and not to open the box, but I would have regretted looking at it because then I would have been like, I just ruined my own proposal. Now I have to pretend like I don't know, and that's not genuine at all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and then back to where it was at. Basically, we had gotten done with all the other gifts, and then there was that last box. The box that had the piece of paper in it.
yeah, the little wrapping paper that you wrote on.
Yeah, and I was getting ready for it. I was a little nervous because I wanted it to go smoothly, at least as smoother maybe than other people had proposed.
That
before.
you'd seen online or something. Yeah, because there are those videos that people post.
Yeah, and I had actually written up a little proposal myself on my notes, and I had labeled it Christmas list.
Yeah, so I wouldn't look at
yeah,
it.
so you wouldn't, and I locked it also on
Yeah.
there. It was my only locked note was Christmas list, and it was actually said proposal on it.
Insane.
And I knew that it should be a natural proposal, but at the same time, I wanted to at least get my feelings like written down more proper to say to you something that sounds sweet, but also genuine, real.
Yeah, and it was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was so sweet.
Yeah, and I had done that. You opened it, and then you said it was in the stocking, and then all of a sudden
Yeah, I went to go check the stocking,
open.
and I was like,
Yeah,
but I thought I got everything out of the stocking.
that was already after I had changed my mind on the stocking idea, so I had to keep the box there.
Yeah, but
basically.
it worked out anyway because I went to go double check the stocking,
Yeah,
and
and
you were able to
then
pull out the ring.
Of my pocket.
Yeah, while I was checking the stocking.
Yeah, and I had gotten this little snowman ring box. It
Yeah,
kind
it
of
was
looked
so
like an
cute.
ornament.
I still have it.
Yeah, it was really it was only like $1 or $2 on Amazon or something like that.
Oh, yeah,
It might
for
have
the
been
box.
$5 to $10 max, but I was trying to, like I said, that ornament idea, but I saw the only places that sold stuff like that were Etsy, and they were charging like way out of the park for something like that.
Yeah.
Like, why would I pay $40 for a ring box?
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize that the ring actually came with a free one from Zales, but I still wanted.
But it wasn't Christmassy.
Exactly.
No, I really like what you did with the
Yeah.
box you got. I thought it was so cute, the little snowman.
Exactly. And when I had pulled it out, you didn't even realize it was a ring at first. You're like, oh,
No.
look, it's a little snowman figurine.
Yeah, I thought it was a little snowman
Yeah,
figure. I
you're
was like,
oh,
oh,
that's
yeah, that's
cute.
what you got me.
Yeah, you just like smiled a little bit, and then I had cracked it open. And
Yeah.
when you do that, that's
And I like lost my breath.
yeah, that's that automatically means it's a ring.
Yeah.
When you crack it open, that's not. I mean, if it was something different, that would be quite a surprise. But I wouldn't.
You went
do
down
that
on
to
one
you.
knee too.
Yeah.
At first, you were down on one knee asking me.
Yeah. It was just hard for me to like stay stable with the fact that I was already super nervous. I feel like every guy is nervous to propose to, and I was doing it in the comfort of my own home, so that really shows how well prepped I am for certain things. I still get nervous no matter what. And,
I mean, we both have social anxiety,
Yeah.
so
yeah, and it's
reasonable. It makes sense that you were nervous anyway. I mean, I would have said yes anyway. So you had a little comfort in the fact that we had talked about marriage, and I told you, if this is who you are as a person, then I would love to marry you. I'd love to have you as my husband and my partner for life because you treated me so wonderfully and with so much care, and it was just amazing. And you still do every day. You tell me I'm perfect, and even though I'm not, but you're perfect for me too.
Yes, and you have not disappointed one bit.
Neither have you.
You have been everything that I expected, and you, and it's not a lot. It's just the bare minimum, and effort that that I ask for. You don't have to.
We both go
everything.
above and beyond for
Yeah,
each other anyway, though.
regardless, yeah.
We just expect,
Yeah,
the
that's
same
why.
respect and care from one another, and
Yeah.
same amount of duties and such for around the house. And
Yes, you do. You do way more than that, anyways. But that's all I expect.
Yeah.
That's all I really care for, because you either way you're such a good woman.
Thank you, baby. Yeah, it was a great decision. I'm so happy you did propose to me though on Christmas, and I definitely, like I said, I lost my breath when I saw the ring. I was like, oh my god, he's actually proposing to me right now, and it's Christmas, and it was just the most amazing Christmas, and this past Christmas was wonderful as well. But I'm always going to remember our first Christmas together was like the best decision I could have ever made, was saying yes to you.
Yeah, and I'm glad I was able to give you a good memory of Christmas, since you always told me that it wasn't really anything special to you. At least not like you always said there was a lot of other holidays you put ahead of it, and
like Halloween. Growing up, I
exactly.
would always put like Halloween, and even like almost Easter too.
Yeah.
It's just Christmas in my family. It was a little strange sometimes because my parents had been divorced for so long, so Christmas at my dad's was he's Santa and he just, would take me to the store and I could pick out something. So it wasn't like, I got to unwrap gifts and get all surprised on Christmas morning. So it wasn't really that special to me. It was just like, great, another day to go get a toy, I guess, or a book or whatever I wanted that year, for Christmas from him. And then my mom, sometimes we'd go over to family's houses and like celebrate, but it wasn't, it never felt like something super special to me, I was super grateful, don't get me wrong, I was a grateful kid for everything that I had received for Christmas and any other holiday or birthday. I was grateful.
Yeah.
It's just I felt like a lot of the time my family never understood me. So, when they got me stuff, it was usually what I asked for. Like, you know what I mean? I would, it would always be the thing I wanted most on the list. So I kind of always knew what to expect, basically, for Christmases. So they were never, like, a surprise, except for, like, the one year that my mom had gotten me some, like, Uggs and a Kindle. I think I was, like, 12 or something, and I was so excited. I had no idea she was gonna get me like Uggs. I kind of thought she might get me a Kindle if it was on sale. If she could get it at a good deal, she might get it. But exactly. I wasn't expecting the Uggs like ever from my parents, because they cost so much. Uggs are ridiculously expensive.
Yeah, and very nice quality though.
Yeah, I love Uggs. Oh my gosh, yes. And so it was just, that was one Christmas that I really remembered, obviously, see, and this Christmas when, you proposed that our first year together.
Yeah.
And so, after he proposed, we had plans to go down and see his mom and his stepdad. So we had driven down there, and that was about 2 hours, I believe, away. Yeah, 2 hours or so. And then we had her take some photos of us after we had a Christmas lunch together, and she did such a great job on our photos, so shout out to her and thank you for that. So yeah, after we did some photos with them, we ended up deciding to drive down to a nearby town and take a walk around and just see the views, the mountain views and the forest. And they had a Starbucks there, so a girl wanted her coffee. So
yeah, there's a plaza type, area. So
yeah, it was really nice.
There were stores and stuff, and it was also, like I said, it was a mountain, area with a lot of nice views. So we were able to
take some really pretty pictures. And we stayed for the sunset too, and we just, we sat down and enjoyed the sunset until dark, and then we drove home. And did we get dinner out that night?
No, we did not.
No, we didn't. Okay. I know we went out the night before Christmas. We went out to the sushi place. That's right. It was so good.
Yeah, our favorite sushi place. Yeah,
I miss the sushi place that we used to go to. It's nowhere near where we're at now, and unfortunately, we have not tried a new sushi place, but we'll definitely have to.
Yeah.
But we celebrated the day before Christmas because most places in the towns nearby us were closed on Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, so fast forwarding a little bit, a year now into our relationship, and it had, been our wedding, coming up.
Yeah, we got married in October.
Yeah, and, originally we got married at the courthouse a little bit before that, a couple months before that.
Yeah, basically. Just separately to get the paperwork done and out of the way so that we could just enjoy our wedding day when it came.
Yeah.
We just got some lunch and had a nice day out that day.
Yeah, exactly. And it was a very nice day.
Yeah, it was. Anyway, so back to our actual wedding in October. We had planned everything ourselves throughout that time from when we got engaged to the following October.
Yeah.
And it was really nice to be able to wedding plan with you and have you be a part of it. That was one thing that I was kind of are you gonna want to be a part of it? I don't really want all the stress of wedding planning on me, just me, But like I said, I'm a planner, so I ended up, planning a lot of it anyway, within the first few months after we got engaged. So it wasn't super stressful by the time our wedding hit. I was really prepared, except for on our wedding day, I ended up completely forgetting on the morning of my bouquet for when walking down the aisle, and the tiara I had gotten as part of my outfit, as part of my wedding outfit.
Yeah.
And I just completely spaced it and just walked down the aisle with my mom. because my dad didn't end up showing up to our wedding actually. So
Yeah,
unfortunately,
and there was a couple of other siblings and people who weren't able to come due to distance, or like my brother was actually having a baby at that time, so
yeah,
he
with his wife,
yeah
yeah, they were
like
expecting their third.
yeah, and
Yeah,
at that time she was due for like basically almost on the wedding date, so it wasn't like
yeah,
they
it was
were
a few days after. He was born like a few days after, right?
literally just a couple days after.
Yeah. See,
It
and what
was
if that
yeah,
happened at our wedding?
exactly. Either way, he might not have been there on time because it
Yeah.
was coming from Missouri all the way to Colorado, and
Mm-hmm.
regardless of where that is, that's still a far distance.
Yeah.
You gotta go through another state to get there. So I
And
mean,
we didn't want
yeah,
him to like leave his wife
yeah,
with the
no,
two
yeah,
other kids being
yeah,
that pregnant, especially. That's already hard. I
yeah,
was not for that, even if it meant I didn't get to meet your brother. And
exactly.
I actually just recently met both of your brothers.
Yeah,
So
yeah, because we just now got to moving down to an area that was closer by to where we could actually
yeah,
go visit them. We're still not super close by, but
yeah.
we're able to commute basically to get there,
Yeah,
not
it's a couple
travel.
hours away from where we're at now, which is a
Yeah,
lot closer than, the 25 hours
yeah,
it takes to get from
something like that.
Colorado.
Yeah,
Something like it was
yeah,
forever
it
because we had
was
to stay the
yeah.
night in between traveling. But
Yeah, it would have been a distance, and it just wasn't ideal. But I'm glad that they were willing to listen to the little like video broadcast that we were gonna do. It's just that didn't work out either.
yeah, we tried to do like a Zoom broadcast or like a Google Meets. It was one of those, and it ended up being like blurred on the screen. And since I was, walking down the aisle, I wasn't able to check it, and nobody else was checking it. So
Yeah,
we had family members who, didn't get to be a part of that wedding, and I felt so bad about that. It's just, I guess the app was already on that setting, and I had no idea. And so we ended up sending those family members pictures of
yeah,
our wedding and like
yeah.
apologizing to them about that mishap, but they did get to like somewhat listen into it.
Yeah. They're still able to at least get the audio version, if
Yeah,
not the
just not
video.
see.
Yeah,
And then they got pictures after, but it was such a
yeah,
beautiful wedding. I cried so much. Oh my gosh, I was so emotional. And it was happy tears, guys. It was such happy tears. But like from the moment we ended up doing a first look before we walked down the aisle, and I loved that idea before we got married. The first look. At first, I was like, no, you don't get to see me till I walked down the aisle. But it was such a magical moment just to have intimacy between us for a couple photos and just to like hold each other for a moment in peace by ourselves before we took that big step of walking down the aisle to each other.
yeah, yeah,
and
exactly.
and those
Like,
pictures turned out absolutely gorgeous. We did it like right on a riverbank, so it was just absolutely beautiful.
yeah, yeah.
And I'm literally
It was
gonna cry.
very yeah, it was very nice. Yeah, I know. Talking about these things can get you emotional sometimes, but it's all right
It was just
because
so beautiful,
yeah,
and I loved every moment of our wedding day.
yeah,
And
me too. It was awesome, and for everybody who were able to come out, I
yeah,
was so happy. I was
yes.
glad that my best man was able to get down there, though, even though my brothers couldn't. I was at least able to have him there, kind of as like a
Mm-hmm.
older brother.
And he came all the way from Missouri too
Yeah,
to come
yeah,
to our wedding, which was really sweet of him.
yeah,
And my
exactly.
grandma was able to come, and she was 79, a week turning from 80 years old, and she actually came up to see our wedding, and it was really wonderful to have her there with us and share that moment because
Yeah.
she raised me a lot when I was really little. So
Yeah, yeah, and sadly, my grandparents, I only have one grandpa alive. Then both my grandmas have been, dead for a decent amount of time, and then my other
yeah,
grandpa too. Yeah, he on my mom's side, they were both already gone, but before I was even born.
yeah, they
And
they
then
were gone pretty
yeah,
early.
yeah, and then my dad's mom. It was in like 2015 or 2013. It was one of those years, but
And your
yeah.
other grandfather, where
Um,
is he now
oh
too, so we
yeah,
can let them know.
and then he lives also in Missouri, pretty close to around where my siblings live. They've lived in that house forever. But I'm glad that at least my sisters and my mom and my stepdad, they were at least able to show up. And my mom and my stepdad actually lived not too far away from where we were having our wedding, but my sisters were all the way in Missouri too. So
Yeah,
it
and
was,
since we actually had it at my mom's property that she owns, it was really nice that they lived actually somewhat close to
yeah,
that property that they had. So it was
yeah,
perfect because
yeah,
your mom and your stepdad didn't have to travel super far to come
exactly.
down for it, and that was really good too because she actually brought some appetizers for our wedding guests as
Yeah.
well to munch on while we were waiting for everything to get started, and that was really sweet of her too.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, and we had a couple things like that too. Like my sister, she was able to take some pictures too. She had her own like professional type camera. We had a photographer, but she wasn't gonna be there the full time, and my sister offered to continue taking photos, and that it was really nice of her. She also made the cake, so
Yeah, she made
yeah,
our
I
wedding
wasn't.
cake, and it was
Yeah,
absolutely gorgeous. Like, I
yeah,
was beyond impressed, and she gifted us that wedding cake and some
yeah.
free photography for our wedding.
And she actually still got
And
us a gift too.
yeah, in
She did
addition
good.
to
Yeah,
that, she literally went out and bought us
yeah, a
a
vacuum.
vacuum, a really
Yeah,
nice
yeah,
pet vacuum, because
yeah.
we
I
have a
love
golden
that.
retriever, and I don't know if you guys know, but golden shed like crazy. So
Yeah,
you need a pet hair vacuum. But
yeah,
since we were on my mom's property, my sisters who are still in high school were able to be there as well.
yeah,
And, like I said, my grandma drove up, and I had an aunt come down to D, and,
yeah.
with her kids. So it was really nice. It was really fun wedding. All the kids enjoyed dancing on the dance floor that my mom's girlfriend had actually built for us. She built a dance floor out of 2x4s and plywood,
Yeah.
and sanded and painted it and
Yeah, and
everything to make
stained
it,
it.
yeah,
Yeah,
stained it.
yeah,
Thank
and
you.
we did actually help
We did help
with the
stain it
stain and
and
stuff too.
stuff.
And yeah, of course, because they already did
They
so
did so much
much.
for our
Yeah,
wedding. They
yeah,
ended up purchasing a lot of the food for all of our guests for the wedding, and
yeah.
they did the cooking. We had burgers and what did we had? Pasta salad or something?
A
Oh my
macaroni
gosh,
salad, I think
macaroni
was
salad.
yeah,
Yeah.
and a couple of other things too. A couple other small
Mhm.
things. We had some chip. We had like little chip bags. The
Yeah.
Lay's, they got those big variety boxes, so we had like stuff like that, so people could just grab whatever they kind of wanted.
Yeah, we had some sodas for the kids and
Yeah,
waters, and we had some like twisted teas and
and
beers for
yeah,
the 21
adults.
older.
And then we also had wine too. I think
Yeah,
we
we
ended
had
up
some.
having
We
like
had.
some kind of champagne, but it was more like wine anyways.
Yeah, it was the
Moscato.
Moscato.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was the Moscato that
yeah,
we had gotten for the cheers, for the
basically,
toast
yeah,
for that my sister did. She did a speech
yeah,
that I really appreciated, but in
yeah,
reality, she's just a freshman in high school, so she
yeah,
didn't really know what to say. So my mom ended up helping her, write a little speech
yeah.
for it.
Which
But
it
it
was
was
still
still
sweet
so sweet.
because
Yeah,
even hearing it from from your mom was
yeah.
also
It was
was
sweet, yeah, and she
yeah,
cried too, my mom. She
yeah,
was like, I'm so proud of you, and like we just sat there hugging after we got married, and I cried with her because, she was letting go. And I'm
yeah.
gonna cry.
Yeah, I know.
No, don't
And
cry.
no, it's okay. I can go.
Yeah.
And and my mom was also emotional too. She was. I could tell. She was crying, but she wasn't upset. She
No,
was.
she was happy tears
Yeah,
like I am right now.
yeah,
Sorry, guys.
yeah. But I mean, my mom, she was always, a little emotional. She doesn't like showing it, but she was just really like it was really hard for her to let me go because I was like her last one and
Yeah, you were her
she
baby.
yeah, and she always tried protecting me even when I didn't need it, things like that. She was always trying her best to like make sure that my life didn't, go to hell or something. And yeah, speaking of my mom, Sarah and I had discussed that, for the good of the wedding, for people to actually be present there and actually enjoying it and getting to see it not from the screen of their phone, actually getting to see it from, their own perspective and not like being in the moment, like actually being in the moment, not just like recording and looking at it through their own phone screen because of course it's good to have those memories, but we also had a photographer and we were having the whole thing live recorded in a way, so we basically discussed that we were just gonna have people take their phone, like everybody was gonna have their phones taken for at least the ceremony, so that we could get pictures of people who weren't having their phones up in their hands, so the pictures were genuinely of them there at the ceremony. And my mom, she loves to take pictures. She always loves to take videos, anything that she possibly can to capture moments. Her phone feed, I'm surprised that she doesn't like need like 30 different like SD cards to hold all of her pictures that she has, because it's insane. But yeah, and she didn't really like that, but at the same time, this is something we had discussed, and one of the biggest things with being in a relationship is you have to learn to be there for that person and respect what they like, what they want, what they need. And that was something that was very important to Sarah. She really wanted that.
Yeah.
And for me, it wasn't that big of a deal, but if that was
What I wanted.
yeah, exactly.
And it was just, I really wanted people to be present. When you go to a concert and there are always people who are always on their phone recording the whole thing, how many times do you actually look at that recording? I can't name a single time I ever did. So I wanted people to be able to enjoy and be there and share in that special time with us, and like remember it fully in their heart, not on their phone.
Exactly. No, and I think, like, now looking back at it, that was definitely a good decision. And yeah, like I said, my mom, she doesn't like the fact that you say you're taking away her phone during a time where she wants to take pictures, because she wants to take pictures.
But that's why we had a photographer, you know?
I know.
I didn't want people's phones like up in the air, in our wedding photos, showing everybody's phones.
I know, and she probably thought she could do a better job than the photographer, and that's why she's like, she was a little upset with the photographer too because of that. But I think
because she wasn't saying stuff like, okay, 1, 2, 3, smile. So she was kind of saying some stuff.
Correctly. And I don't know. I think it was perfectly fine.
I think our wedding photos are beautiful. But, I mean, I love them. I love looking at them. It's my lock screen and my home screen. It's everywhere.
And she definitely didn't have anything to say about how ours was. She said, "You guys look very good." But
she didn't like how she looked. Yeah,
all the photos that got taken of me and Arena, and she's like, and I don't like how it is.
Yeah.
And Alina, she really. I don't think she had an issue with how it looked, but
no, there were some really good ones of her too. Of like you guys laughing, like all the siblings, like his 2 sisters and him had some really great photos. Like we did little group photos. Like I got some with my mom and her girlfriend, who they're engaged now too. So she's kind of like gonna be my stepmom, I guess, in a way. So I got some pictures with them and my sisters and our bridesmaids, and you got some with, I believe, the groomsmen, and your side of the family got photos together with you and me, and then my side of the family got photos together with you and me. Yeah, we put the photographer through a lot of work. It took a while to get all the photos done after the ceremony.
Yeah, which is good, because they charge a lot for what they do. They charge a lot. So
if they have the skill and technique, and they are the ones who are bringing like the high quality camera and stuff, that's reasonable. We got a pretty good deal for ours, because she was willing to work with us and only come for a certain part of our wedding, and she came for the ceremony, or for our first look pictures right before the ceremony actually, and then up until after we cut the cake, I believe, right then, or after our first dance she left, and then we did the cake cutting, and your sister took photos of the cake cutting actually. Denny, she took photos of the cake cutting. She was
able to do that other portion basically, which wasn't much more of the wedding. So we basically got like the whole wedding in there. It was just because we weren't able to get every single segment of what we wanted to take pictures of all in one. So
it was just going to cost too much. And we didn't really feel like it was worth putting in any more money to that segment of our wedding.
And either way, I think that the photographer's photos looked better than my sister's anyways. So it was all right, because I still liked her photos, but I don't know. In my opinion, I think the way it captured, was better looking than how the other camera. It was just about camera. It wasn't about that. It was just about what kind of camera she had. basically.
Yeah, and the photographer had just a better quality one. That's all.
Yeah,
It
that was the
really
only
was.
difference. Which she's she's a professional,
Mm-hmm.
and my sister just kind of she had a professional camera, but she didn't have like the top notch because she's
Yeah,
not a
and
photographer.
yeah, she's not a photographer. She's a
Yeah,
baker. She runs her
yeah,
own
probably more
bakery,
than that.
so that's
Yeah,
why she made our cake, And
yeah,
it was beautiful. Oh my God. I was so happy with it. She came down early just to be able to make the cake there on the property so that it
yeah,
would be perfect and they didn't have to drive with it. And she thought about making it beforehand and asked me, how I felt about it. And I was just a little worried because, driving in the mountains, there's deer and everything, so
yeah,
unexpected things can happen. So she was willing to come a day early just to be able to make the cake at the property, which I was so grateful for her doing that.
yeah.
And it tasted so good. Oh my gosh, it was really good cake.
Yeah, yeah, no, it was
And
really good cake, and we had different layers. Yeah,
yeah,
we
we
had
had three different tiers.
vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry. I thought that was
Yeah,
awesome. That she's
and
able to do the strawberry tier.
yeah, and I wanted the strawberry cake, and I'm actually allergic to red dye. So she made the cake from scratch without any dyes so that I could enjoy it.
Yeah,
And so that was really sweet and thoughtful of her, too.
yeah, because why does it need to be? It
It doesn't
doesn't need
need
to
red
be
dye
red. Yeah,
or
I
pink
mean,
dye or
yeah,
whatever.
if it tastes like strawberry, that's all I care
That's all I
about.
care
Yeah,
about. Yeah,
yeah,
and
that's
it was a
cool.
white strawberry cake. Who
Yeah,
doesn't like that? That's awesome.
yeah. And I would actually like to go like a little bit back, like to the start of the ceremony, and to just kind of like feelings, how I was feeling at that time, and we had decided, we were gonna play, like a song for each person, and then we were gonna walk with our moms basically, because I walked with mine and you walked with yours down the aisle. And so when I was standing up there, I was a little nervous, but there wasn't a super big crowd. I also thought I was being recorded, for whatever family
For
to
the
see,
Zoom.
was there. So I it was a little more pressure, but not like very bad pressure because everybody that was there, at least on my side, because I didn't, obviously I didn't know your extended family too well, like
Yeah, who came
any
out.
cousins or grandma, yeah, any of
Yeah,
that.
they all lived really far away, so they
Yeah,
all had to travel down, so you hadn't met them yet.
yeah, which was in Arizona, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
so
all from Arizona.
yeah, so it's that's kind of like how it is too. Your family, your further family,
Mm-hmm.
is from where you were born, and
Yeah.
then basically where I was raised is where mine. But it almost seems like I was born in Missouri because that was basically my whole life was there.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, just something to kind of like keep in mind. Both of our families were
From
we're,
far
we're, we're,
away.
we're a distance away from both of us and had to
Yeah.
travel.
And they weren't there to judge us anyway. They were just
Yeah,
there to
no,
be excited and be
exactly.
supportive of our wedding, and it was really kind of all of them to come out.
Yeah. But when I saw you, it was just I really tried hard to just like keep myself together. Even though I didn't cry, I just couldn't help to think like, how did I get so blessed, so lucky to, have this beautiful woman, this perfect woman, the person who's always been by my side and, never given up on me or anything that we've been through. And
Yeah.
I was just so happy that day. And my face, my jaw muscles probably hurt after that day because I was smiling like throughout the entire thing.
Yeah.
And
We were
yeah,
really smiley, and
yeah,
I like cried through like almost the whole ceremony, like just like silently wiping my tears, trying to keep it together too.
yeah,
And I had like makeup on. I had done my own makeup, so
yeah,
that was really hard too. But it didn't matter. I was gonna feel my feels anyway about it. And you
exactly.
were so handsome in
Yeah,
your suit that we had picked out. It was wonderful. It was beautiful.
yeah,
And I had worn the dress that my mom had married my father in, actually. So I had a hand-me-down dress.
yeah,
But I had tried on that dress originally, and I cried when I put it on because I knew that dress was meant for me. My parents didn't last very long after they got married, but it was like she had that dress for me. She kept it
yeah,
all these years,
yeah.
and I was originally like, no, I don't want it. For the
Mm-hmm.
longest time as a teenager, I didn't want the dress because I thought it was bad luck or whatever. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what was wrong with me,
But
but
yeah,
it was absolutely beautiful, long and white, and
yeah, and you said you had tried on other dresses like before that, like before we were together even, and you said that you didn't like any of them.
no, yeah, none of them felt like they were like the one dress that was meant for me. Like they all felt like somebody else's dress, you know?
Yeah.
And so I never ended up finding any wedding dress that I liked until I had tried on that one that my mom gave me, and oh my gosh, like I felt like a princess, you know? I felt
And you
like
looked like
so
one.
special. Thank you, baby.
Yes.
It was such a magical day for us, and we ended up staying in a B&B that night.
Yeah.
And it was really nice. We just kind of lounged on the couch together and watched a movie and snuggled up, and had some dinner, some leftovers from the wedding, and
which was delicious.
It was delicious.
Perfect for me.
Yeah.
I never need no fancy dinners.
No.
That was good food anyways, and
Yeah.
and it was a very good night.
Yeah, and we had a really good time, and we had some friends come, like your groomsmen were there to celebrate with us after, and I had some friends too, and A came down, from our previous job. She came down for our wedding too, and that was really sweet also.
Yeah,
but
it was
just
really nice of her.
Yeah, it was just a really fun time overall, and I really enjoyed our dance. Our first dance, we had practiced it quite a bit outside, and I had switched into cowgirl boots instead of the heels I had gotten married in the reception, or the ceremony, sorry.
Yeah.
And, it was really fun, though. I remember being so nervous because I have stage fright and I can't dance for the life of me in front of anybody except you. So it was really nerve-wracking to see everybody standing there with their phones and stuff, but it was such a beautiful moment. And I just remember, like, giggling with you and laughing through our dance, and our spins were spot on perfect.
And I mean, we had been practicing that for a little bit. I mean, we didn't put in like as much effort as somebody who's doing a dance routine would, not like some professional dancer. We just didn't want to humiliate ourselves, and we wanted to look like we actually tried, but at the same time,
it wasn't all that.
Yeah, it wasn't made to be all that, but at the same time, something a little bit more than a high school dance, which is definitely needed, is definitely necessary. Like, you're an adult, you should
know how to dance just a little bit, at least for your wedding.
Yeah, at least for your wedding, even
and
no matter
beautiful.
what kind of guy you are. I'm not a guy who dances, and you never get me to dance, but I mean,
Well, I got you to dance for our wedding, and we danced to the song "Then" by Brad Paisley, and that is now our official, song together.
Yeah.
And it was just so beautiful, and yeah.
Yeah, the song just has a really good message, and if you listen to it like closely, everything that he talks about it, is basically just like, I'll never give up on you. Everything in our life, I can see you basically as my life, as my future. I can see you with a baby. I can see you with a ring on your finger. That's mine. That's what it was about.
And it's beautiful. If you have never heard that song, you guys, it's called "Then" by Brad Paisley, once again, and it's such a beautiful song to listen to. And if you ever need a suggestion for a first dance song, that is absolutely a wonderful one to do too, as well. Yeah. But anyway, guys, I'm looking at the time right now, and we are running out of time on our episode. So we are not going to get to today, unfortunately. Housing situation and what it was like to temporarily live with my mom on that property.
Yes.
So we will be talking about that in our third episode, which is our next one, and we'll actually be mentioning about how we ended up buying a house and how we were able to save to do that and what that was all like. And anyway, we just want to give you guys a big thank you for staying and listening to today's episode.
Yeah, we appreciate it all, and thank you guys for going through this journey with us and just listening to our life experiences. We haven't been in a relationship maybe as long as some of the other people, but we're definitely trying, and we're trying to be there for each other and give our insight to anybody who may be wondering certain things about anything like that. Our wedding. Anything about your wedding.
Yeah, and if you guys have any questions or comments, or you want to leave us a rating or give us a follow, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time.